Bring in USA Today columnist John Wood Jr. John, it's always great to have you on there. I want to put this on the screen because this is from Braver Angels, your website, and it reads in part, quoting here, "Today there is evidence to suggest that we are now as polarized as we have been since the Civil War. Americans no longer see their political opponents as simply wrong or misguided. They see them as enemies who must be defeated at all costs." And one would ask, what's the remedy in your mind to that?
Yeah, well, Trace, it's the question of all questions. And the truth is that the thing that makes it difficult is that the remedy is something that is deeply simple, profoundly moral, and that starts within. And that's simply our remembering the fact that our fellow Americans, our neighbors, our family members, our classmates, are people with whom we share a human bond. Look, it may be the case that we have politics that differ from one another and that the way we vote may seem to be a threat to one another's interests. But ultimately, we live next to each other. We have to raise families together. We have to run communities together. We have to set the stage for our children to live alongside of each other in the next generation. If we walk through life having a basic sense of goodwill towards one another, regardless of our politics, we can contextualize our political differences as existing not between enemies, but as between neighbors.
But as we found out, it's easier said than done. I'm going to put up one of your kind of mission statement bullet points. It says, "We state our views freely and fully without fear." But, you know, that's number one. The whole thing here, John, is that a lot of people don't want to state their views because they feel like they're going to get shut down. They feel like one side is going to say, we're going to shut you down because we don't want dissent. We don't want any dissent, and if you continue to debate robustly, we're going to call you a name. We're going to call you a name, and we're going to cancel you right away.
Well, that's a major problem in American society. So the thing about Braver Angels is that we are a national community, Democrats, Republicans, independents, people in third parties who come together to get to know one another's experiences, to debate issues, to be honest about where we stand about things, but to also pull together to try and improve our communities and improve our country. Sometimes you have to take an affirmative role in setting the spaces where the American people can be honest about the things they think and feel politically together, because we can't rely necessarily on the prevailing institutions of our party and the parties themselves to set the stage for us to get along, because there's so much profit to be had in division.
Do you come at this, John? I want to put these other on the screen, too, because number 2 says we welcome opportunities to engage with those whom we disagree. And I'm wondering, do you come from this from a religious perspective, from a civil perspective? Where are you coming from? Where did Braver Angels come out of?
You know, that's a great question. So Braver Angels originally materialized in the aftermath of the 2016 election, founded by individuals from the left and from the right. Our work is based in principles of family therapy. Our original workshop, something called a Red-Blue workshop, was one in which we take folks from the left and from the right, not to argue or debate politics right off the bat, but to speak from the vantage point of personal experience in terms of why we see politics the way that we do. It started with a commitment from some folks who are religious, some folks who are more secular-minded, but who believed in this idea of e pluribus unum and preserving the union, being committed to a vision of the American experiment that says that we are not complete unless we have the left wing and the right wing, because that's the only way that the bird flies. And so there's a longer backstory to it, Trace, but the origins are in our deep traditions of oneness, and that's something that should inform us as Americans.
Lastly, we treat people who disagree with us with honesty and respect, and that seems to be a rarity, because people who disagree with people do not get treated with respect in America anymore, and certainly that's why the parties are at each other's throats.
Yeah, but Trace, disagreement is respectable. You know, I cannot be honest with
if
you.
If somebody will debate, but if they won't debate, then you have nothing but name calling. You have people like, I'm not going to debate because you're right, I'm wrong. I don't want dissent. I want concurrence, and I've only got about 5 seconds.
The thing we have to remember is that disagreement does not have to make us enemies. If we remember that, then we can disagree and disagree well.
John Wood Jr., great to have you on.